He said she was just a friend until her kid called him dad. My husband Mark had a new coworker he suddenly wouldn't stop mentioning. Ashley. Ashley likes this movie. Ashley recommended that restaurant. Ashley thinks I'd love this podcast. At first, I didn't care. Then her name started appearing everywhere. Late night texts. Inside jokes. Random smiles while staring at his phone. And every single time I asked about her, he'd laugh and say, "You're being paranoid. She's just a friend." That sentence alone made my stomach turn. Because loyal people explain. Liars dismiss. So I stopped asking questions. Instead, I started paying attention. One Saturday, Mark told me he had an emergency work meeting. But an hour later, our credit card showed a charge at a family pizza restaurant. Not exactly business meeting material. So I drove there. And honestly, I wish I hadn't. Because through the window, I saw my husband sitting beside Ashley in a booth. But that wasn't even the worst part. There was a little boy sitting across from them. Maybe 5 years old. Laughing. Eating pizza. Completely normal family scene. Then the kid looked at my husband and said, "Dad, can I get dessert?" Dad. I physically froze. Mark looked around nervously and immediately noticed me outside the window. The color drained from his face instantly. Ashley turned around next. Panic everywhere. But I didn't walk in screaming. No. That's what they expected. Instead, I smiled. And drove away. Because the second that child called him dad, I realized something important. This wasn't some random affair. This had been going on for a long time. Which meant there were probably bigger lies hiding underneath. And I was right. That night, while Mark spam called me nonstop, I checked our financial records. Turns out my husband had secretly been paying Ashley's rent for almost a year. Using money from our joint account. Thousands of dollars. But here's where karma entered the chat. See, Mark worked for his wealthy uncle's construction company. Family business. And his uncle had one rule. Never mix personal scandals with company money. Guess who had been using company expense accounts to hide some of those payments? Yep. My husband. So Monday morning, I sent every receipt anonymously to his uncle. By Tuesday afternoon, Mark got fired. Immediately. And Ashley? Apparently she dumped him the same week after realizing he no longer had money. The perfect little family disappeared overnight. But the satisfying ending? That came 6 months later. I finalized the divorce, kept most of the savings thanks to the financial evidence, and moved into a beautiful new apartment. Then one random afternoon, I saw Mark working at a small electronics kiosk in the mall. He looked exhausted. Older. Defeated. He tried smiling at me and quietly said, "I made the biggest mistake of my life." And before I could answer, a customer nearby looked at him and said, "Excuse me, do you actually work here or are you just standing around?" I won't lie. That healed something inside me.